Hello, my name is Ashley Barmeda, and this is my assistant Batman, and we're here to discuss Chapter 2, primarily Section 2.9, the 4 lobes of the brain and the cortexes associated with those 4 lobes. Just to give you a brief rundown of what a cortex is, it is the outermost covering of the brain, consisting of densely packed neurons responsible for higher thought processes and interpretation of sensory input. The 4 lobes consist of the occipital lobe, which is located in the back rear of the brain, the parietal lobe, which is the top back of the brain, the temporal lobes, which is on either side of the temples, and the frontal lobe, which is in the front of the brain. The first one I want to talk about is the occipital lobe. Again, it's located at the back rear of the brain. The term occipital refers to the rear of the head. The lobe processes all the visual information the eyes give from the primary visual cortex. Also in this lobe is the visual association cortex, which help identify and make sense of visual information from the eyes. If you were to have a tumor in the right side of your occipital lobe, you could be given this mask. You say that it's black, and you can say that it has pointy features, but you cannot state that it is Batman because that part of your temporal lobe is damaged. Now, if you were, again, with the tumor on the right side of the occipital lobe, if you're given a flower, you could describe the stems as being green, you could describe the petals as being red, but you cannot state it as a flower. If you take that same flower and place it underneath this person's nose, just by smelling alone, they could describe it as being a flower because it uses a different part of the brain. The next lobe that I would like to talk about is the parietal lobe, which is located at the top back of the brain. The parietal lobe is just right by the parietal bone of the skull. The parietal means wall. Located in this lobe is the somasensory cortex, an area of neurons that run down the front of the parietal lobe on either side. The somasensory cortex is responsible for processing information from the skin and internal body receptors for touch, temperature, and your body's position. Right now, my parietal lobe is getting information that from my skin and from my body position that my finger's being pulled on. Because I'm giving this information, I can either react or I can hold still. The next lobe that I would like to talk about is the temporal lobe, which again is located on either side of the temples. The temporal lobe, it contains the primary auditory cortex and the auditory association area. The left temporal lobe is also responsible for language. They also found that taste may be found in the temporal lobes as well. So this temporal lobe is helping you to understand what it is that I'm saying because you are losing your left temporal lobe and you are able to basically make sense of the words coming out of my mouth in a sense. The final lobe I would like to talk about is the frontal lobe of the brain. This lobe is responsible for all higher mental functioning, planning, personality, memory storage, complex decision making. The frontal lobe also works with the limbic system to control emotions. Right now, Batman is using his frontal lobe to control his anger emotion, I guess. The forwardmost part of the frontal lobe is called the prefrontal cortex. The middle area towards the cortex and bottom surface above the eyes have a strong connection to the limbic system. If you were to suffer damage to this, say you were to have brain damage to the frontal lobe, you would have a hard time processing emotion. Also, you could have damage to your limbic system, primarily the amygdala. The frontal lobe also contains the motor cortex, which is a band of neurons located at the back of each lobe. This area controls the voluntary muscle movement by sending commands to the somatic division of the peripheral nervous system. So he is using voluntary muscle movements from the motor cortex that goes through his frontal lobe by slapping my hands. He's using those voluntary motor movements. Again, my name is Ashley Barmeda. That was Chapter 2, Section 2.9, and I hope that you enjoyed this video presentation. Thank you so much. Have a good day.